welcome to Somewhere in Thuringia. Hopefully I'm not saying that too incorrectly. And the start of map 3 in the Farming the Decade series and the start of our new Terralife Plus series. So this is using version 1.1 of Terralife Plus. If you didn't watch it, it's worth watching the last episode of my Glenlarthen series because it kind of sets the scene as to why we have £2 and a bit million. It'll set the scene for why there's a load of random vehicles if you're interested in that, which we'll go see in a bit. But the first thing we need to do is buy the farm, and we'll then talk about what we're going to do in this series and buy some of the land. And I'll explain some of the stuff about this series because probably a bunch of you haven't seen the first 2 seasons of Farming the Decades. This is season 3. And so I'll explain some of what Farming the Decades is about. So let's go into the map. So this is a 4x map. It's a big old map. We are on what I think is the main farm, and we're going to buy that. You should probably be in euros, but we're not anyway. That's £411,000. Let's have a quick look around because this does come with some interesting stuff. We'll close the gate to keep all of the random pedestrians out. So we get a farm silo. I'm not sure on the capacity of the farm silo, but that's kind of cool to start off with. We've got a cow shed that holds 80 cows and does have a little bit of a paddock or pasture, which I'm assuming will graze because I'm assuming that's set up to graze. We've got a nice selection of random little sheds, and what I assume is some sort of hay loft. I don't know if there's a way to get up to it. I've had a bit of a look round, but not a huge look. Yeah, so spoiler, there's a petrol tank out here. Technically diesel tank because the game vehicles all use diesel. Manure heap for the cow shed. I assume there's a slurry tank as well that's part of that. We get a modular BGA, which is a big step up for this series. I'm going to go with it. We've not used a BGA yet at all on this series, but it's on the farm, so we'll make use of it. We get a couple of bunker silos, which are going to be useful. And another shed. I think we're going to be a bit short of shed space. Easy for me to say. I think this might be, a vehicle repair point. So, because there is in here a workshop, so that's going to be pretty useful. Whether we will be able to get all of the vehicles in that we've got, I'm not sure. You'll see hints of that here with the 2 combines that we own. And as part of buying the farm, we get this area here, which has got landscape grass on it. We might end up replanting that. We probably will want to. You can see our fleet of tractors there, which we will have a look at in a bit. Yeah, that shed is over there. Bear with me. We're going to go for a little wander. I do not know this map at all, so all a bit of an experience. That looks like a sell point of some sort. Okay, so we have a cow shed. I intend to run this as a dairy. The Farming the Decades series has traditionally had a dairy on it. It looks like, no, I have still got my note. Awesome. So I've had a look through the feeding as to what we want to be growing for cows. So let's just have a look over here. So this is obviously a very different start to the Polegny series where we had everything brought and we were kind of racing into being set up. This is going to be a much slower start. So I intend to buy, and this is not going to be tutorial in any way particularly. This is going to be me playing the game. Probably some... I don't know whether to go for 18-month-olds. We might get some 18-month-old Holsteins. And as an experiment, I'm going to buy a few Wagyus as well. But from a feed point of view, we'll be... Obviously, there's a little bit of grazing there, but not a lot. Probably I'll be doing some indirect grazing during the summer. So we'll want a grass pasture to do that. And that's where replanting that landscaping grass will come in useful. I need to check to see whether that's something we could just mow and collect. I'll probably replant it to be real grass. But in terms of making the feed, actually, let me just check something. Yep, so just done a check. I think we're going to buy the 10-month-old ones because the feeding gets a bit more complex, and that will allow us to get those earlier because we can essentially make TMR from hay. So grass hay, probably herb grass silage and straw. Maybe we can buy the straw in. We're then going to be looking at going to a TMR that's made from probably maize silage, grass or herb grass silage, hay, probably alfalfa silage. And I'm going to put some of the apple trees in because we never got to see those working. So that's my plan. I've just dropped my phone. And I need that because it's got my notes on. So 1 second again. Bear with me, folks. And yeah, so what I want to do is work out how many fields we need to buy. So we need a grass field, a herb grass field, something that's going to produce straw. So that's 3, 4, probably 5 fields plus a field for grazing. So 6 fields really. I was looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would work, and that has a field that's already got a straw crop in it. So that would probably work quite well, I think, if we can afford them all. So that's 85,000. It's not the best land, but I mean the alternative is we split some of these up. So I quite like that one and that one. The alternative is we might have to lease a bunch of the kit we need. We've got plenty of tractors, but we might end up leasing a bunch of the kit that we need. So we've got 1.2 million left. That's 200. Oh, yeah, we can afford to buy those. So let's buy those. They do have crops in, which we're probably going to be looking at replacing. So this one, the winter barley, will keep. But the rest of them we don't really want. And I want to check that and mostly we're looking at planting grass crops apart from the maize. So we check the calendar. Silage corn we can plant over the next month. So that's good. And then we just need to be planting essentially a load of grasses, which we can plant whenever we want. So stones in the field. I'm playing with stones off. But I might need to deal with that off camera. If we have a look at the fields that we've brought, we need to scan them. Probably we'll get the agronomist in for that. So a couple of them need ploughing. So we need to sort that out, but otherwise we're okay. But we need to check the precision farming status. So we'll do that. And basically anything that's got a crop in, we're going to be replanting because we don't want onions, apart from the winter barley. We don't want parsnips. We don't particularly want sugar beets. So, yeah. I'm going to have a look at the landscape grass because it might actually be worth us hanging on and mowing that. I need to check what we're going to get off it. We might just get a green cut, and that's going to kind of be pretty useless to us. So, next thing, let's have a quick look at the vehicles and stuff that we've got. So, we've got a New Holland combine. Super strength on. I have. Let's turn that off. Not sure why that's on. Okay. We seem to have permanent super strength. Fair enough. That'll be going because that's not something we use on this series. We'll talk about that as we get to it. Yeah, so this is a recent purchase because it's got 0.4 hours on it. And yep, so it's not really been used very much. Very recent purchase. And then we have our class dominator in Ford colours. This is a Mark Thor mod. This is slightly older, 85 hours on the clock. We've got a corn header and a grain header for this combine. We've had this for quite a long time. So, yep. And then we have, I'm going to put a flight mode on to take you through the tractors because we have quite a few of them. You'll see them really as we go. And I'll explain why we have such a big fleet of tractors and a little bit about this series, I guess. So this series started on Maypole Farm quite a long time ago as a start from scratch series. And the idea was that we started in the, I think it was 80s and early 90s, something like that. And basically every 2 game years, we have moved a decade. And right now, I think we are in the 2000s to 2010s. And as we've gone through that, we've not only opened up vehicles, but also technology. So we started out, we had no GPS. And that meant that with precision farming, I couldn't use any of the GPS-based features of precision farming. We couldn't have GPS on vehicles. We couldn't have things like automatic bale stacker, so all the bale handling was done by hand, no GPS, all that kind of stuff. And so you can sort of see here, it's not in order, but a bit of a history of our tractors. So we started out, let's turn that off, with the Fiat Agri. That's been with us since the start. Some of the Deutzes, and the on the end, one of my favourite tractors. This little guy has been, this little Zetor has been with us since the start as well. And yeah, just over time, as we've progressed through the decades, we've brought more and more tractors. Why are there so many? Well, one, I've not sold many tractors. I've sold 1 or maybe 2. But also, as part of this series, the on and off, the patrons have had access to do contracting as part of a multiplayer element. So they had, having more tractors was useful so they could do work, and we had a few more combines at one point. And I sold, when we moved from Glenlarthen, I sold a root crop harvester and all of the implements so that we could start fresh. Apart from the tractors and the combines, we sold a whole load of cows and all the crops and things. And yeah, so over time we're going to need to buy that. I will be setting up a contractor's yard. My actual thought, and I didn't buy the piece of land, which I'm going to do if we can afford it. Yeah, it's only 70 grand. Awesome. My thought is that actually I will probably set up the contractor's yard on this field, and we'll share this plot of land, because there isn't an obvious contractor's yard. Obviously at the moment it doesn't exist. Priority really is getting stuff going for me. So I'm going to need to plough those to get soil information. I'm kind of tempted. How much cash have we got left? 300 grand. So one of the things I did at the start was to not have a loan. And then when we moved to Glenlarthen, we did, because buying all of the land was very expensive. And I added in the enhanced loan system mod to do that. And we might end up having to do that on here as we get going. We'll see. So there we go. There's all of our fields. So let's just have a quick look. I'm guessing they're all in pretty ropey condition. Yeah, they probably all need liming and nitrogen and all those kinds of things. So yeah, yeah, that's got a lot of nitrogen on it. Lime is pretty awful. That one's in a good state, actually. So apart from the pH, it's not great. But I'm not going to put lime on. I really want to put lime. We might have to put lime on that, even though it's got a crop in it. I don't usually like doing that, but you know, is what it is. So what I think we should do today is go back to this one. So these are the two fields that I plan to have as grass. I think we'll probably do 81 as corn or maize, silage maize. Nice big field of that. And then we'll, all the other things that we needed to plant. Mostly grasses, actually. Particularly this year. So what I might do is I could do with a direct drill. We've got seeders. So the Novag now should give the precision farming bonus. He's 300 horsepower. We've got that with the Zerion. So we could lease a Novag and start getting the grass planted. Which field needed ploughing? Oh, it needs ploughing. Maybe we do field 82 today as a slightly smaller job to get us going. I think I might put herb grass in 82 and put grass in 83. It's a big field, I know, but if we're going to indirect graze off it as well. And they're both big fields, but I also want to be able to run the BGA, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Let's just have a quick look at this field. It does need liming as well first. Okay. I'm playing on 1 day weeks at the moment. So just to go through the other settings actually and make sure they're set correctly. So plan times 5, that'd be fine. Hard economic difficulty, I'll probably end up turning traffic off. Crop destruction needs to be on, periodic ploughing on, field stones off, weeds on, fuel usage high, all of that stuff off. Production revamp stuff, I'm not sure how that works. And that stuff is hopefully all okay. Oh, lumberjack. Super strength value, infinite, normal strength value. There we go. That's why. It should be 200 kilos, I think. Yeah. Okay. That's why. Sure, a combine must weigh more than 1,000 kilos, but yeah. So that's that done. So we want to lime this field at first. Sorry. It always takes me a moment to get going and stuff. So let's turn that off now. Let's turn that off. So we need to buy ourselves a lime spreader, or lease a lime spreader would be a better idea. Because we're going to need something big to get going. So it would probably make sense for me to go and have a look for some mods for that. Oh, I've had a little bit of a break. I've had some dinner, had a bit of a ponder, and I've got a different plan. In the update, Carbo Lime Liquid. Carbo Lime Liquid it's incredibly cheap. That's intentional because it's a waste product from processing sugar beet into sugar. So I thought we'd give this a try. So we're going to buy ourselves a sprayer and try that. So I've installed some sprayer mods. So if you watched the previous seasons of this, we had the Yacto Condor, which we sold. And we're going to get instead, because we can get a bigger capacity, the K-branded Deltis. So this was a base game bit of kit in FS19. So I should check the sales quickly. Just in case that's... yeah. No, I'm not going to spend 40 grand on that. No, you're not going to spend 40 grand on that. Nope, you're not going to buy that either. A 7.5 meter cultivator. No, you don't really need that. You don't need that. It's too modern anyway. You do need a mower. That, on the other hand, at 20 grand, would be a very good buy. Yeah. Maybe we'll go for this instead. Now, I did say about ages, obviously some things with mods and things that there's a bit of flexibility on that. I think this might be the way to go. Now we could go crazy wide. Actually, 33 meters is not crazily wide. So I think we're going to give this a try for 36 grand. Will allow us to do fertilizing contracts as well. It's on standard wheels, which I don't like. It's on narrow wheels, which I do like. So we'll get that brought. I also saw... didn't want to spend 40 grand, but he spent 36 grand. Just don't ask. Don't ask. Cultivator, no, but I did see a 2.5 meter plough. No, we're not going to use 2.5 meter plough. That is very tempting. That is very tempting. Because I sold all of the mowers that we had. 38 grand. Mowers. So we had this set before, which a replacement set would be 34. The Elho is kind of tempting, but that is very tempting. That is very, very tempting. The front mower is 13.5. But we just need... I could just use that one. That is very tempting for the amount of grass work we're going to be doing. I think we would be foolish not to purchase those as well. So, which tractor should we use for the spraying? It's the 4440 got GPS. It has. That could be fun. It doesn't need to have narrows for the liming. We're going to be destroying some grass as we move all of these, which is why I had crop destruction turned off initially. So the other thing that I wanted to do, obviously we won't be mowing with this, but we'll just use this to put these away. Do it now. I want to change to... it's going to be under there, isn't it? 2 days per week. Once it kicks in, we're going to go to playing on times 10 speed normally. Now, when I'm letting the patrons play, I will adjust that so that it doesn't affect my time to play. This is something I experimented with before. Basically what that means is a game day lasts about an hour. And that works quite nicely for making a video. So what I'll do is I'll probably play until about lunchtime today in game. So let's hook that up. Let's buy some carbo line. This held 4,000 litres, didn't it? So I have no idea how much of this stuff we're going to use. So we'll just buy a whole load of it. And see how we get on. I'm really hoping this is going to work for doing pH, because I've never used it before. It wasn't in the previous version, so hopefully we don't end up looking foolish. But I just figured this is something that I've not done before. Having a sprayer is useful, obviously, with Terralife, and yeah, why not, eh? And if we grabbed a tractor with narrows, we could go do the wheat field as well. But let's test it first. It looks like it's going to do pH. So, yeah, we are adjusting pH. Awesome. Oh, this is a bit funky. It's got some articulation in the middle of it. Wasn't expecting that. That might be a test of my driving skills. No laughing at the back, children. No laughing at the back, thank you. Usage rate is kind of high, but we are doing the first big fix of pH level. So, wow, yeah. We might be running backwards and forwards just a tad. Just a tad. So, but that's okay. That is okay. Well, once you've done the field once, it's generally not so bad, is it? So that's kind of why I thought I might try this. I didn't know if it would be more, it would use less. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, I didn't know if we would use less versus spreading a solid. It would appear not. Seems like we're going to get through a fair bit. You know, doesn't matter. We, you know, it's part of establishing things, part of getting set up. So, if you don't want to do this when you start a new save with precision farming, that didn't go quite to plan, did it? We probably shouldn't spray carbo lime on the gravestones. Let's just fold up and reset ourselves. Yeah, if you don't want to go through this when you start a new save with precision farming, there's a video for that. For adjusting the initial values of things. So you can go into precision farming and adjust the starting values for nitrogen and pH, so that you don't start with fields that are all in horrendous condition like this. And that's kind of nice. I kind of like that. You can pick the range that you want them to be in. So, yeah. If I remember, maybe I'll link that below. So, I guess some of the standard things that I've been saying in the other Terralife videos. If you want support for Terralife, I'll try and remember to put the links below. The previous ones that I was sharing are now somewhat dead because they've created new channels, because we're only providing support for version 1.1. So if you haven't updated, you won't get support. So if you haven't updated, update. Remember to only download from ModHub. Only use the official versions of things, and that way you're helping with donations to charity. And yeah, that's a good thing, isn't it? So don't download Terralife stuff from anywhere else. I guess the exception to that is the Butcher mod that supports Terralife. That can't be on ModHub because butchery, and because of the age rating of FarmSim. So, but yeah. And the other bit that goes with that is I don't answer support questions in the comments to videos for Terralife because it's too complex. And access to my Discord is still paused because I'm still not quite back up to full speed from all of the things that happened over the last month or so. So, yep, it'll reopen at some point, but kind of enjoying just having the gang that are there now at the moment. Quick break for one of the dogs to have a drink, and we've got our headland done, so on to the refute up down rows, and then we'll see about getting some grass of some kind planted into this field. It's quite interesting. You can see the very distinct band of the soil type changing there, which I kind of like about Terralife precision farming. That's the word. It's going to be pretty weird going, and I'm going to keep playing this save when FS25 comes out because we've only just started it. But with FS25 going back to no precision farming for however long it is until precision farming comes out, I guess losing all of the mods that a bunch of us really enjoy. If you're watching this, you probably enjoy playing with a lot of those yourself, and seeing comments, seeing people saying in different places that they're going to hang on and wait for FS25 to get all those mods now. That could be a while. So for me, I'm going to play a mix. Now that's partly because of what I do. Not playing FS25 is going to be somewhat limiting, but also I think it looks cool, and I'm quite looking forward to some of the new things that are coming. So yeah, we will be playing both. Now we're going to need to get ourselves a set of pallet forks for this guy. All of these, I don't know actually if there are any tanks that we can store carbo lime in. Guess it'll be Shift P container. What we have got is we've got the apple pulp now, the carrot pulp, the potato pulp. Interesting. Have we got a compost one? I thought we were getting a compost one as well. That's a mod, isn't it? The silo system mod. Okay, there, lime, fertilizer, fodder. So I think what I might end up doing is editing. I need to check actually. Maybe a bulk store would let us unload that. That's worth a look actually. That is worth a look. For now, I'm going to just fill it up because we've got so many things to spray. So trying to, we must have a tractor that's got arrows. Possibly this one even actually. I can't remember what our sprayer tractor was. Been a while since we did any spraying, but we'll just park this up in one of the bunker silos for now. And I think, do I want to, realistically, can I afford to use the Novak? Or do I just go for a normal, I'm thinking I just go for a normal direct drill. Because I'm not convinced, I can't afford to buy it, but I'm not convinced I want to spend 10 grand leasing a seeder at the moment. Because I'm into a real Let's Play now. Is there anything in the sales? I'm not going to buy the Kinsey. Do you know what I'm thinking would be a good option? Saving, and I would. Some of you will know this seeder well because I've used it quite often. Assuming I remember to activate it. So previously we had the Vadestad Rapid 4. A very nice seeder actually. Really nice bit of kit. Not averse to using it again actually at all. I kind of feel that the Novak is maybe a little bit too modern, and I'm hoping that what I've got in mind you guys don't feel is too modern. You can just see a hint of my cocklinger peeking out just there, because that's what I want to go for. The Cocklinger Jockey 600. It's a direct drill. It's only 44 grand. And 6 meter seeder, 160 horsepower. I love this bit of kit. It works really well. So that's what I'm going to go for. I don't know if this is particularly appropriate to the early 2000s. It doesn't feel to me like it's using anything particularly advanced, so I'm going to go with it. If you have any particular adverse reactions to it, then we can discuss. But I feel like it's probably okay. So we're going to buy that, and I can't remember which. We're going to put herb grass in 82, aren't we? So let's get a big bag of. Let's go into seeds. Grass seeds. Herb grass. Big bag. I'm sure 1,000 litres will be enough. Yes. Okay. And stupidly, I sold all of tools as well. So, telehandler tools. Big bag lifter. Design giants. Main colour. We'll leave it in black. And we'll buy one of those as well. So we only need 160 horsepower for this. But I think we'll run the New Holland. Because I haven't got to drive this very much. So it's a fairly recent addition to the fleet. And we had one on demo on the farm early on. At the end of the last decade, shall we say. They got us an early access to a demonstrator and ended up buying one because it was quite nice. And but it spent the end of sort of playing on there. Actually, no, I did use it a little bit. But yeah, we've not used it a lot, so. I know I'm destroying a lot of grass as we get ourselves set up. It'll be fine. It'll all be fine. It's the price we're paying. Let's see if we can get this seed over the seeder. There we go. Don't think this takes... No, it just takes seed. So there we go. That should be enough, I would have thought. So... that seems uncomfortable. Yep. Let's go. Let's close that up. Let's see how we can get on with getting this seeded. So I am not going to put tram lines in the grass, obviously. And what I intend to do is run up down rows that go to the edge of the field because we've got plenty of space, and then run a headland. So we've got lots of nice room to turn around, so we should be okay. Yeah, first crop going in the ground. Awesome stuff. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not worried if we end up destroying anything in the onion field because the onions are going to be destroyed. Reminds me a lot of setting up on Saxthorpe, actually, where we had the wrong crops in the ground early on, and we ended up destroying a lot of crops because we need specific things for feeding the animals. That's why I'm going to get rid of them rather than just keeping them and harvesting them. It's not worth it. We need certain things to be able to feed the animals. So yeah, I might do skip rows actually. That might be sensible, seeing as we have GPS. Yeah, might be sensible. Just make it a little bit easier on myself with turning and just covering the ground, I guess. So again, I'm not worried if we end up destroying any of the crops. The only crop we want to preserve is the crop in field 80. So, and these rocks look small enough that if we roll them, they should go away. So what I'll do is I'll turn fieldstone back on when I roll the field, and that will hopefully get rid of them. That's my plan. We need to do that on the same game day you have to roll on the same day as planting. Let's get that done. Yeah, so as I said, this is going to be quite, if you just watch me play on Pelagni, this will be quite a bit different, because this is going to be me playing how I normally play, rather than, you know, kind of a series with access to unlimited cash. And we started off quite flush, and we've just bought 3 pretty expensive bits of kit. And we've got a lot of tractors, because this is now going into year 5 probably. So yeah, that's why that's why we are where we are. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you, we ended the last series in August, and it's now April. And you might be wondering what happened in that time. I took a little break. We went on a little holiday. Or I just couldn't be bothered to skip ahead time, so either one, whichever one you want to pick. So I'm going to get this seeding done, and I'll be back with you in a bit. Progress is being made at a reasonable rate. I mean, I guess we're using the 6-meter seeder, and it's not the biggest field in the world, but it should give us a nice amount of herb grass. I had a moment, I was worried that we weren't actually using any seed, to the point where I went out to the save game and copied out the number of the amount of seed we had in the seeder. It has since gone down, so I'm now not worried about that. But I remembered having a moment on, I think it was on Maypole. So it was way back in this, it was in season 1 of this series, where we were seeding something and we didn't use any seed. So I had a moment to think that some weird bug had come back from that series, or season of this series. So, but no, we're just using a very small amount of seed, so that's fine. I do remember Akimabil commenting that seed usage rates are very low for certain amounts, which is what, and the seed does cost more, and that's reflected in the fact that you use a lot less, so that's fine. I hadn't noticed that the seed cost more, to be honest. You've got to buy it, you've got to put crops in the ground, so you don't have a choice, really, do you? There was obviously the comment when we brought the seeder, don't know if you spotted, that if you use the universal DSV seeds, you use a heck of a lot more. So, yep, that's not a bug, that's intentional. That's to encourage you to use the individual seeds for the individual crops, like what is in real life in it. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Now, there is going to be massive elements. I did say this isn't going to be like a tutorial type thing, but there are going to be massive elements of me still learning as we go through this, because this is me still learning how to play with Terralife. So I will make mistakes, probably. You guys can help me, definitely, as we go through. You will have played this more than I have, so yeah, we'll see how we get on. GPS didn't engage. Yeah, so we'll get this finished planting, and that'll be it for today. Next time we'll invest. We might lease some rollers. We can't keep buying everything, but we're going to need some rollers. We're going to need a plough to plough in the onions, and it's going to smell good. Yes, I know you can't just plough onions in. They'll still keep growing, probably stuff, but it's a video game. It'll be fine. We're definitely not waiting for them to grow so we can lift them. We need that field to be a grass pasture. I need to work out where I'm going to put the contractors set up. Probably on that spot over there, and any spare land we will turn into grassland, because we're going to need more grass. Let's be realistic. Once the grass is growing, we might start getting our first cows, and I'm probably going to stagger the purchase so that basically so that we can get some, so that they start growing, so that we can start working towards having calves and therefore milk, because without calves you can't get milk, and without milk we aren't as a dairy going to start making money. Now we do have the BGA, so that's going to help us make money and be profitable, but it's not a mini BGA, is it? It's a proper modular BGA, so it's going to be a bit slower, but that'll be fun and interesting, because I've not really used one of those that much, so I'm kind of looking forward to that as well. It's all going to be a bit of a learning experience. Should be fun. Yeah. So clearly, much slower pace, although I'm hoping that by going to 2-day weeks and playing on ×10, we can keep some pace in the game. That's my intent. Although there is going to be, doing contracts, we've got to make money in this one. So I'm not just going to skip days because I've got nothing to do. If there are contracts, we'll be doing them. As I said, this is me playing the game how I like to play it. So if you're just here to learn Terralife, then there's going to be other stuff. Well, we're going to need to patch that. I might just come back and patch that, to be honest. If you're here for super realistic gameplay, you're in the wrong place. I play some kind of weird mix of semi-realistic, how I like to play. It's a video game, whatever it is, okay? Never claim to be Mr. Realism. Just enjoy playing the way I like to play. Yeah. Right. If I do things that you see that are unrealistic, absolutely fine. The world will not end. At least not because of how I play Farm Sim. Yeah. As we finish up, I'm going to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. You are all awesome. And yeah, we're just going to patch, because this is going to be a grass pasture and it's quite important. And it'll look better if there aren't any gaps. We're just going to try and get any of those little gaps. Do I care about those bits? He says he ignores bits. There we go. And I think there are some down here. Excellent. And then just along here. Perfect. End up back where we wanted to. We have a lot of herb grass seeds left, so I'm going to need to get that unloaded, get that stored. And we have a lot of work still to do, obviously. But anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Obviously, I said, loads of work to do. Things will start to get into a regular flow in here. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. Comments, questions, or suggestions below. And I will see you next time on Somewhere in Thuringia. Bye.